Good evening. I am Melanie with Thriving in the Fishbowl, and this is my lovely assistant,
Elizabeth.
And today we are with number 1 of our series, Tackling the Debt Monster. And so the question I asked was, how do you eat an elephant? And Elizabeth is very intrigued by this because usually when you go to the restaurant, you do not see elephant on the menu, do you? No, but if you were going to eat an elephant, how would you eat it? Anybody know the answer?
Me.
How would you eat it?
One bite at a time.
How'd you know that? She looked at my paper. Okay, all right. You would eat the elephant one bite at a time. Now, let me ask you this question. How do you prepare to run a marathon? Do you go out and you run 10 miles after you haven't run since high school? No, you probably start, quit looking at my notes. You probably start by going out and jogging and walking in intervals 1 mile. And then you build your way up to a marathon. All right? So the bottom line is, when we are tackling the debt monster, we are going to have to take it one bite at a time and get some small successes so that we can build and ultimately pay off all that debt. So there's 2 things I want to talk to you about tonight real briefly. Number 1 is you have to make a budget, okay? I talked to you on Saturday about downloading the app Every Dollar. It's by Dave Ramsey, and a lot of the stuff that I will be presenting to you in this series comes from him, and also another book that I love called 21 Day Financial Fast, which is by Michelle Singletary from the Washington Post. So I encouraged you to get that app and download a budget. And so what I want you to do, first of all, is I want you to think about, what is a budget? Does anybody know what a budget is?
No.
All right. It is, according to dictionary.com, it's an estimate of income and expenditure for a period of time. In our case, right here, we are going to say for 1 month. So let's just think about April. Okay, let's just kind of look ahead. During April, what are we going to take in? What is our paycheck going to be? And what are we going to spend money on? Okay, so here's some things I jotted down. You probably have house payment or rent. You have utilities. You have internet. You have cable. You have Netflix. Property taxes. Groceries. Eating out. Yes, even eating out you need to schedule.
I got one.
What?
Electricity.
Electricity, yes. Okay. You have car expenses such as gas, oil changes, if your insurance comes due, if you pay it each month. Yeah, restaurants, okay.
Electronics.
Electronics, yeah. Activities for the kids, like we start soccer. So, you know, if you haven't paid in the fall for soccer and you're just doing spring soccer, or like Elijah's going to play track and whatever he needs for that. And then just family outings. Say you want to go to a movie, all right. All right, and so how can you create a budget if you don't have income? All right, well, it's going to be the same thing. You are going to project how much you are spending, okay, each month. And then what we're going to do, and I'm going to give you some steps to do, and I actually can give you a worksheet that will tell you what percentages you should have. Like, there are percentages that you should spend, like no more than this percentage on your house payment, and it's like 30-some% of your income. All right, and so if you're using savings, then it's kind of the same idea. Obviously, that's not going to work unless you have a ton of savings in the long run. So basically, we're talking about income, and but if you have an idea of what you need to spend each month, so you can stretch it out as far as possible, then I want you to write down the budget. Okay, now you can type it and print it too, but did you know there was a study done of Harvard graduates? They had graduated 2 years ago, and those who had written down their goals, 3% of them wrote down their goals, and 97% did not write down their goals. And they achieved more financially than the other 97% combined. Why? Because there's something about writing it down and like putting it into action. Even with my fitness business other year, the first year I did it, I wanted to hit these goals, and we had a class at our church, and she said, write down what you want to achieve in 2015. And so I wrote down these crazy goals. And do you know, I went back and found the paper last year, and I had achieved it like ×2. You know, it's just crazy how you don't think about when you actually put something into, you think it, but you put it into writing. 2 times what I wanted to do. So like I doubled it. All right. And so, here's another thing. You can't set out on a trip. Like, say I'm going to go to California. I'm going to go from Michigan to California. I cannot get there without having a map or GPS, because I'm gonna end up in Alaska, knowing me. All right, because I have no sense of direction. It's kind of like that. If you are trying to get out of debt,
just keep on going straight.
Just keep going straight. If you are going to try to get out of debt, you have to be able to see what you're doing. That's why I say write a budget. And also have a list of things that a budget will do for you. Let me just give you a few things. Number one, it helps you spend your money on the things that really matter, okay? Because how many of us have said, you know what? 3 days ago, I got $50 out of the ATM and I have no idea what I spent it on. All right? Okay? Number two. Oh, yeah, she wants to. Okay, number two, helps put you in control of your money so your money doesn't control you, because we all know that money can control you. It helps tell you if you're living within your means. It helps you meet your savings goals. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Helps your entire family focus on goals, because if your family knows, you know, that's in the budget, that's not in the budget. Helps you prepare for emergencies. We're also going to talk about that in a minute. Helps you manage variable expenses such as car insurance payments. Helps reveal areas where you're spending too much, because I'm going to tell you, if you're using the Every Dollar app and you're punching every single thing you spend, you're going to say, oh, wow, I eat out at Chinese quite often.
Ooh,
What?
I got one.
What?
You used to stop at McDonald's until you found Beachbody.
Yes, okay, all right. I used to spend a lot on fast food. Helps you get out of debt and helps keep you out of debt. Number 10, Elizabeth.
Helps you sleep better at night.
Helps you sleep better at night, because believe it or not, money keeps a lot of people awake at night. Okay, so if you need help, you can message me personally and I'll try to help you. I should tell you, I am not an expert, but my husband has like versed me in all this stuff very well. So I should get him to be a guest speaker on here. But here's item number 2, and this is a big thing, okay? This will take you longer than this series to establish. But item number 2 is you have to, the first baby step I want you to take besides making a budget, is you have to establish a beginning emergency fund. I say beginning because eventually after a few other steps, we will make a bigger emergency fund. And I want you to, as fast as you can, get $1,000 in an emergency fund. Why? Because 78% of us are going to have some major life event happen within the next 10 years. All right, I hate to even think about something like that. You know, your car is going to blow up. Somebody's going to die where you need to go across the country in an airplane. Your job's going to cut back and you're not going to have as much income. Just the list can go on. And so that $1,000 is for that, okay? Because when we start paying off the debt, we don't want to backtrack because you have an emergency. All right, and so we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But here's the deal. Your child's birthday or Christmas, they do not count as an emergency, okay? Because her birthday is always...
What?
When's your birthday?
January 24th.
It doesn't change. Isn't it January 24th every year?
Yeah.
I know that. I have to plan for that in my budget. Christmas is always... When is it? Do you remember?
25th.
December 25th. It's always December 25th. That is not an emergency. So now I know it's hard to think about, you know, how in the world am I going to get $1,000? That's crazy for me to think, okay? But we have to do that as fast as we can. So it's going to take focused intensity. You have to decide you want to get out of debt, and you have to take the steps to do it. You may have to say, you know what? I'm going to have to eat at home instead of getting Chinese. All right, or I'm going to have to take some overtime at work for a few weeks so I can get this $1,000. Or what we do with our kids. What do you do with your money, Elizabeth? When you get money, what do you do?
Can I tell them what I think?
Tell them what you do.
You give 10% to God, 10% to the bank, and 80% for yourself.
Okay, so we with our kids operate this way. When they get their money, they tithe 10% to God, to our church. They put 10% in savings right away, and then 80% is theirs to do with. Now, we monitor what they do with it, but you can do that with your check. Live on 80%, put 10 to, you know, a charitable organization, because God will honor that, I promise, all right, and to your church, and then 10% to your savings. And if you make anything, that it'll add up to $1,000 pretty quick, okay? Now, I'm not talking like next week, you know, unless you have a really good job, all right? And
like
so...
Maria.
She thinks my sister's rich. Okay, so now once you have that $1,000, here's what I want you to do with it. I want you to hide it. Now, Dave Ramsey tells the story of this lady who got a picture frame. She sealed it up. She put the $10, $100 bills in there, and she wrote on there, in case of emergency, please break glass. Now, I would recommend putting it into like a savings account where you can get to it, so at least it earns a little bit of interest during, you know, while it's in there, because hopefully your emergency is not going to happen right away. So
where did she put it?
She put it in like a picture frame, and she said break glass. Okay, but that is the first thing I want you to do. So your 2 steps for tonight are make a budget. If you need a form, let me know. I'll be glad to get you one. And number 2, get a beginning emergency fund, okay, of $1,000. Now, if you are a like single person by yourself, it may be a $500 emergency fund. I'm talking for a family, okay? And so just work up to that, but that money is not for you to touch. Now, the bottom line is you're going to need focused intensity. Now, what is focused intensity? How many of you have seen the movie Rocky when he's fighting and at the end he's looking for Adrian and he's hollering? Anybody remember that movie? Okay, I'm going to show you a little clip, and I want you to have as much intensity in working to get out of debt as Rocky has looking for Adrian in this clip. So I'm going to flip my phone around and let you see here. Okay, so I'm going to play it.
You didn't
All right.
flip it.
Oh, I got to flip it around. Sorry. I pushed the wrong thing. Okay, so let me turn the volume up. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is focused intensity. Watch Rocky. Okay, so you hear the iconic music, and then listen what he's going to yell.
It's chaos. Rocky, you went the distance. You went the 15 rounds. How do you feel? All right, it's all right. What are you thinking about when that buzzer's out for that light? What are you thinking about when the 15th round when you're coming out? Well, Rocky.
I know that was a little bit of a lengthy clip, but it shows you that nothing could deter Rocky from getting to Adrian, all right? He did not care about anything else. And so you have to determine if you are going to tackle the debt monster, that you are going to eat the elephant one bite at a time, and that you are going to, do this, all right? And so, if you need help, let me know. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I love reading the books about this. And so, I would love to help be part of your success to finally getting out of debt. And I know it's possible if you try. All right? So, have a great night, and thanks for watching. And we will talk to you tomorrow. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Bye? All right. Let's see here.